Yeah, it's been like fucking a couple minutes. So just gotta collect my thoughts on the next topic, religion, as when it relates to at least thought control. If we're gonna try, doing the whole disproving religion thing, there's plenty of great videos out there that really show some of the absurdity and really stupid points of religion, and how they don't fucking connect, and just look that shit up on yourself. I mean, if you're religious and you think your religion's correct, you should seriously take into account, the opposition's point of view. Like, um, yeah, and that's another very obvious fucking means of thought control. Like, when religion had full, complete power over society, like in the Dark Ages, anything that was against the church, anything that was against the Bible, even perceived, was heresy. And that, it's like, oh, you can't think about that. That's ungodly. It's like that is fucking uber thought control. So thought control is basically anything that controls your thoughts. Any sort of societal system, any sort of belief system. And religion is probably the biggest user of thought control. First off, they control the nature in which you perceive reality. There's a magic man in the sky, and fucking yeah, I'm actually reading a paper now because fucking it's just like a couple of points. I don't know if you can see it. It's like, yeah, it's too fucking white. Whatever. Anyways, um, it's not like a whole paragraph. But anyways, yeah, they basically um, have gotten you to believe that there's a magic man in the sky, and he's fucking there's 10 things he doesn't want you to do. George Carlin. Um, and there's a lot of faults in these things. Like the very nature of prayer, for instance, is faulty. Like when you're praying for like money, and then it's again confirmation bias. Like you pick up a money like $50 off the ground, and people go like, oh well, God gave me $50 when I prayed for it. Praise the Lord. It's like, well, if you got to think about it, he had to take that $50 from somebody else to give it to you. So he basically stole that money. And some people go like, well, what if it came from a horrible person? It's like he fucking earned that money first off, and second off, um, what if it hadn't come from a horrible person? And basically, um, God can't be, he's not omnipotent because he can't create money because the federal government would immediately know that money had been, created. It's like the same material and it's all legit and shit, but the numbers are all wrong because it's not their system. So, I'd like to see God fucking hack the federal government system, yeah, because the federal government would be kind of pissed off at God, like, what the fuck? God's creating a bunch of money again. Fuck that dude. But anyways, yeah, the other nature of thought control with religion is sin. There's things that you're not supposed to be doing. Um, and I say that's complete bullshit. Philosophically, for instance, like sex, premarital sex is supposed to like help you and shit. Because like you could get fucking AIDS or something because like you actually take like a drug or not a drug test, you take a fucking uh, STD test like before you get married, so there's no like fucking you know whoa, I didn't know I had that, honey. But you could do that at any time, and plus if it's consensual and there's no fucking um, you know harmful effects out of it. Why is it wrong? I quote Epicurus. There's no inherent evil in anything. Just some things are more annoying than others. Um, so, anyways, yeah, religion tries to really get you on bad thoughts. Like um, you're not supposed to think about certain things, and you're basically limiting the very nature in which you're learning things. Like, you're not going to want to learn about evolution because it goes against your belief system when evolution is already like 99.99999% fucking like proven. which basically means 100%. But it's a technicality. And anyways, if you don't believe in evolution, like seriously, look it up, man, because you can't fucking go against it. It's like it's too ridiculous. We've had 150 years of research. Get with the program. Anyways, one of the other things too, when it comes to thought control, is that once you're in the belief system, they don't want you to leave, and they have like different tricks in how they want you to stay in. Like for instance, they'll say any sort of like prevalent thought that's like doubts or like for instance me, they're gonna say like I'm fucking influenced by Satan, and that's a cop out. Like that's a really easy thing to say that just like, oh Satan, he's fucking doing all this shit. Oh that fucking little gnarly Satan, but if God was truly omnipotent, he'd just be able to eliminate this guy to begin with. Um, but he doesn't, so basically he just wants to fuck with you. So, anyways, um, the other one that they use a lot though is ad hoc logical fallacy, and that's a big one because an ad hoc logical fallacy is where you come up with a hypothesis or you come up with basically the way things work, and then um, when someone goes, well, hey, that doesn't work in this situation, and then you come up with like a fucking after the fact, you don't even fucking revise your hypothesis. You're just fucking like coming up with like a weird ass like explanation for just that specific little instance, and then still think that like fucking the hypothesis is still correct. Like for instance, like free will and people will come up with like little ad hoc logical fallacies for just the individual cases where people are like, well, free will doesn't work if God has prophecy. He's seeing into the future, and so thus those things are predetermined because he said they were going to happen, and then he says you have free will. Well, how is that? How's that working? Did Judas have free will? So I think, and then he said he gave it to everyone, so that now he's lying. Oh, God sinned. Oh, fuck. Like either way you look at it, God's fucking sinning because either A, the prophecy isn't true and you do have free will, or B, uh, you don't have free will and the prophecy's true. So, you know, in both scenarios, God's lying, God's a sinner, and then what does that prove? Well, the whole hypothesis is bullshit. But people will come up with a fucking specific very reason, for that little situation, and that's called an ad hoc logical fallacy. So anytime you try to break down people's fucking belief systems, they'll come up with little bullshits, and that's the ad hoc logical fallacy, and you just gotta notice that. Because what they're coming up with, though, the reason why it's wrong is because what they're coming up with is not in their belief system. It is not in the actual fucking Bible. It's like a dogma. It's like fucking reasons outside of your belief system. Like either it's you yourself or like theologians. Theologians have constantly tried to like think about the very problems of the Bible, like Saint Aquinas and all these other fucks from like back in the day, like Saint Thomas and shit. And they're basically like amateur philosophers because the reason why I would say amateur is because, one, they're actually like philo- philosophizing about religion, and um, there's just a lot of ideas in religion that are completely nonsense, like morality. Morality in religion is totally not true. um, See, you're actually cherry picking everything that you're fucking doing in the Bible. Like, there's all this horrible shit like in the Old Testament about like stoning and killing and raping people, and like God of the Bible in the Old Testament is a horrible douchebag. If you actually read it, the number one thing that makes atheists is just fucking reading the Bible. Um, Number two, fucking, you know, uh, see, Jesus specifically says, like, it's several times that the laws of the Old Testament are not thrown out. Like, he's not there to change anything. So a lot of people say, like, oh, well, the Old Testament is fucking, oh, that's out there, it's no longer in use. Well, newsflash, you haven't read your own fucking Bible. They're just listening to their preachers. And that's an opinion that you have to back up based off of evidence, and. So, anyways, I don't know if that really covered everything. We might do something more, but stay classy, San Diego.